9.9 FM in Grand Cayman and 93.9 Cayman Brac and Little Cayman. My wish for you, our valued listeners, this Christmas is that the season will be filled with special moments with family and friends to bring you joy, memories to last a lifetime, and love to warm your hearts. Merry Christmas!
For the record, proudly brought to you by
Vamped Motors, the only authorized Ford and Toyota dealership serving the Cayman Islands. Coca-Cola, available across the Cayman Islands from Tortuga distributors. Accept no substitutes. Taste the feeling with Coca-Cola. Brand Source Home Gallery, inspiring luxury. West Bay Pharmacy, taking care of your health. And JN Money.
From abroad to yard.
Fast, affordable, convenient. Doctor's Hospital. Peace of mind is important when life happens. Doctor's Hospital. Always there for you. Call 949-6066.
This is For the Record with Orrett Connor.
Coming to you live from Radio Cayman Studio.
For the record.
For the record. For the record. Hear from your government officials, independents, and the opposition on issues that matter to you. For the record. Engage in an open dialogue between residents and lawmakers.
For the record.
For the record. For the record. Informative, impartial, insightful.
This is your talk show.
1-800-534-8255. Your calls, your input. This is For the Record. And now, your host, Orrett Connor.
Good morning, good morning, good morning, O land of soft, fresh breezes and verdant trees, so fair. Today is Friday, the 9th day of December 2022. Right here in the beautiful Cayman Islands. We hope and we trust that everyone had a restful, peaceful, enjoyable evening. Those of you who are on the roads of the Cayman Islands, we urge you to please, please, please be extremely cautious, whether you're a pedestrian, a cyclist, or if you're operating any type of motorized vehicle. Ensure you observe the rules of the road, including using your indicators when navigating a roundabout or whenever you're changing directions. You intend to change directions as well. Don't change the directions and then put a signal on after you've done so. That doesn't help at all. You have to do it in advance and well in advance, as well. I'm seeing circulating a photograph of a blue Honda Fit that was involved in an accident, possibly last night somewhere in the vicinity of Watler Estate in Lower Valley. So again, please be cautious. Don't drive and drink. And remember to dim your headlights or keep them on low beam. Only have them on high beam when it is absolutely necessary, for you to improve your visibility. Notice this morning when I was heading down, several Royal Cayman Islands Police Service cars heading east, and unless their low beams are really, really bright, my suspicion is that some of those RCIP drivers don't know where the dip switch is either. They don't know where I suspect that because they're driving with their high beam on, 6:20 in the morning. Yes, it may still be a little bit dark, but there's a car 30, 40 feet in front of you. Why in the world do you need your high beam? Like I said, unless those low beams are really high, my suspicion is that some Royal Cayman Islands Police Service drivers don't know where the dip switch is on the cars as well. And I say that, without any apology whatsoever. So, folks, those of you who are celebrating a birthday today, we want to wish you a happy birthday. Or if you celebrated one over the past few days, we want to wish you a belated happy birthday, and to remind you that the birthday, for the record, birthday shout-outs are proudly brought to you by life insurance agent Michael Webster from Cayman Insurance Center. And his advice to you is to live your best life and make sure your family can too. So those are the birthday shout-outs. Let's see who's celebrating a birthday today. And if I fail to mention these, and who, I won't be able to go back down in Tropical Gardens. So we're going to start out by Miss Sadie Chalette, and she's wishing birthday greetings for Miss Vernice and Miss Vernice Miles. Miss Vernice's birthday is on Sunday. I, on Wednesday, may have mentioned it because it was on the Facebook page that we had at that point in time. So her birthday wasn't on Wednesday. It wasn't on Thursday. It isn't today. It is on Sunday. Also, Miss Mary Miles, that's the spouse of Mr. Bunny Miles. She's celebrating her birthday this weekend as well. So the birthday greetings are coming from Miss Sadie Chalette, also, and the rest of her family. So, again, Miss Vernice Miles, Miss Mary Miles, both celebrating birthdays this weekend. Happy birthday greetings coming from Miss Sadie Chalette and her family. And I would say to extend that to all of the residents and her friends in Tropical Gardens as well, because that's a big family. There's a big family in Tropical Gardens as well. Okay. For those of you who have lost loved ones, we want to express our sincere condolences to you. We hope and we trust that your faith will help to carry you through these extremely challenging times, and that the memories of your loved ones will be a blessing to you. Those of you who are ill and are either at home or at a medical facility, we want to wish you a speedy recovery as well. And we want to give a big shout out to the Deputy Governor, the Honorable Franz Manderson. If you were listening to the proceedings in our Parliament yesterday, you would have heard him speak about his recent episode, and talking about his return and the support that he has received from colleagues, from families, from family members, from friends as well, and his advice to all of us to endeavor to live a healthy lifestyle, eat healthy as well. That may be challenging to some with the cost of goods being so high now, edible goods being so high as well. That may be a challenge to some, but if it at all possible, to eat healthy as well. And we want to say welcome back to the Deputy Governor, and happy to know that he has fully recovered as well. So, folks, I want to thank you for allowing Radio Cayman, and by extension For the Record, into your homes, into your vehicles, as you traverse the busy roads of the Cayman Islands, into your places of work, wherever that may be. As you know, For the Record is a show produced by the staff and management of Radio Cayman, and it is geared towards keeping you abreast of issues as they arise and play out on the local, regional, and international scene. I am your host, Orrett Connor, and you're welcome to join me every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday from 7:30 a.m. until 10 a.m. During that period, phone lines are open. Beautiful radio voice of Miss Susan Watson again, waiting to take your calls. You can call us on our toll-free number provided courtesy of Flo. That toll-free number, 1-800-534-8255. You can also call us on 949-8037 and 949-6990. Email us at fortherecord, one word, fortherecord at candw.ky. WhatsApp us 925-3261. Follow us on YouTube by subscribing to Radio Cayman live stream, and of course we are on Facebook as well. So let's look at the birthday. Today's birthdays, and this is coming from Facebook. So if there are any inaccuracies, we apologize. So we have Miss Mary Trumbach celebrating a birthday. Militia McPhail, Lisa Nell McLaughlin, Tachina Rickfield. If you don't know her, recognize that name. Also known as Sunshine McLaughlin. She's one of the managers over there at work. Sabine Calvetti, Clara Watler, and George Powell celebrating a birthday. Miss Susan, you had a few more for me as well. And belated happy birthday greetings going to Miss Amber McLaughlin as well. Also, we have here one of our listeners. God has blessed Ellen and Mr. Jerry Wood, celebrating their golden wedding anniversary, 50 wonderful years of married life with a great family around them. So, sorry, my apologies. This, the name is marked wrong on my phone. So we're going to go back over this again. Miss Ellen and Mr. Anthony Eden, former member of our Legislative Assembly. They are celebrating their 50th anniversary today. 50 wonderful years of married life with a great family around them. We want to wish them a happy 50th wedding anniversary as well. That is Mr. Anthony Eden and Miss Ellen Eden. And God bless you, and may you live to see many, many more as well. Also, what else do we have here? Okay, Miss Mary Miles, more birthday greetings coming to you from your husband, Mr. Bunny, children Ruth Ann, Chris, Donna, and Tiffany, sons-in-law Greg, Julian, and Kirby, grandchildren Aaron, Taj, Tori, Omari, Kai, and Nathan, and from other family members and friends. Again, Miss Mary, bigging you up today. Happy birthday, to you when it comes tomorrow, the 10th of December. So Miss Mary's on the 10th. Miss Vernice is on Sunday as well. We're going to go to a commercial break. When I return, I'm going to introduce my guest into the studio. I wanted to ensure that I have him back on the air with us before the Christmas holidays, because he's the big celebrity on For the Record, and when he's not on here, people inquire about him as well. So want to give him an opportunity to say Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays to his fans here on Radio Cayman, and to share some of his Christmas experiences with you. So folks, please stay tuned. For the Record, we'll be back shortly.
The Cayman Islands boasts of a long, colorful, and rich history. In tribute to our roots, Radio Cayman, the voice of the Cayman Islands, is pleased to bring you the Historical Vignette Series, brought to you by Rotary Central. For more than 110 years, Rotary members have used their passion, energy, and intelligence to take action on sustainable projects. The Cayman Islands, He hath founded it upon the seas.
Captain Rael Brazeley Bodden, Sr., MBE, JP, was born in 1885 and died at age 91 in 1976. He was best known as a shipwright who used his marine architectural skills to construct prominent historical landmarks on Grand Cayman. In so doing, Mr. Bodden carried on the tradition of his father and grandfather. In 1971, Captain Rael was recognized of his development contributions by being asked to lay the cornerstone for the Legislative Assembly building. Captain Rael built many ships, including the well-known Simboko, the Lady Slater, launched in 1934 as sister ship of the Simboko, old-time schooners, and 2 minesweepers for the Royal British Navy. The Simboko was constructed in 1927 and was the first locally built motorized ship in Cayman. For 20 years, she was Cayman's connection to the world, carrying freight, passengers, and mail between Grand Cayman and the sister islands, Jamaica and the United States. Captain Rael held the office of Admeasure of Shipping for over 45 years. He was appointed a Justice of the Peace in 1928 and served in the Assembly of Justices and Vestry. Captain Rael was married to Miss Hetty, nee Bodden, for 63 years. Together, they raised 5 children and were the proud grandparents of 22 grandchildren, many great-grandchildren, and great-great-grandchildren. He received his MBE in 1941, Her Majesty the Queen's Badge in 1954. In 2008, the Central Planning Authority celebrated the contributions of Captain Rail Bodden for his outstanding contributions to planning.
Radio Cayman's historical vignettes was brought to you by Rotary Central. For more than 110 years, Rotary members have used their passion, energy, and intelligence to take action on sustainable projects.
Since 1993, Rotary Central has worked diligently each year to provide quality bus shelters to our community. A traveling convenience to our school children, the elderly, young people going to work, guest workers, and visitors using the public bus. We, Rotary Central, help you, our advertisers, make it happen. Your marketing dollar travels a far way. Positioning your message, your product, your services, your presence in over 83 bus shelters. Every dollar you spend, every advert you place helps to build another bus shelter, providing modest comfort for Cayman travelers. Reserve space now on the only billboard medium in the Cayman Islands. Email rotaryshelters@gmail.com. rotaryshelters@gmail.com. The Bus Shelters, a partner in community convenience. Another inspiration program by Rotary Central Cayman Islands.
We think it's time you crossed over to a new vehicle. And with the Toyota Corolla Cross now at Vamps Motors, you have plenty of reasons to make the switch. The crossover body and hybrid engine is a sleek design in a sturdy structure with a spacious interior that opens to extensive cargo space. Stuck in traffic? The high-performance self-charging hybrid system automatically switches between gas and electric vehicle mode, helping you lower both fuel costs and carbon emissions. The Corolla Cross has full LED lighting inside and out, an integrated display audio system with energy monitor, and a dual-zone climate control system to ensure comfort for all. Test drive the new Toyota Corolla Cross Hybrid today at Vamps Motors, Walkers Road.
At Doctors Hospital, we know life happens, and usually when you least expect it. So when unexpected medical issues arise, you need quality care close to home. Located in the heart of Georgetown, our accomplished team of physicians and medical staff treat minor urgent conditions such as migraines, chest and abdominal pain, shortness of breath, burns, broken bones, open wounds, and more. 24 hours, 7 days a week with no appointment necessary. Peace of mind is important when life happens. At Doctors Hospital, we're always here just for you. Need to speak to someone? Call 949-6066.
J&M Money touching down again. Now you can send your US dollars at any location on island, including the BRAC. It's easy. Just walk with your US dollars. No need to convert to CI. This is another convenient service available at J&M Money. They always find a way to make it easier and hassle-free. So remember, when you need to send your money and you only have US dollars, don't ever think of what to do. Just head straight to any J&M Money location and send your money the fast, convenient, and affordable J&M Money. J&M Money, touching down again. J&M Money, ranga to la friend.
Your dream home starts with a vision, and often inspiration is at the heart of that vision. Brand Source Home Gallery's in-house designers are here to help bring your vision to life. Whether you're remodeling or building a new home, Brand Source Home Gallery is your one-stop solution. Explore their kitchen cabinets, sinks, faucets, bath fixtures, tubs, vanities, and more. Let Brand Source's designers help and inspire you with your next project. Call 623-5000 and schedule an appointment with a design expert at Brand Source Home Gallery, Dorsey Drive, Industrial Park, serving Cayman for 50 years.
With costs and insecurities rising, staying grounded and focused is what your family needs. Life insurance covers your family and mortgage protection. Peace of mind is mental health awareness.
Life insurance, the sure way to protect your family. I'm Michael Webster. Don't take chances with your family's future or your valuable assets. Cayman Insurance Center, protecting you and your family so you can take back your future. I'm Michael Webster. Let's discuss your peace of mind today. Call me at 925-5433. Think life insurance.
System 1 loaded.
1-800-534-8255. What is on your mind when it comes to the government, independence, and the opposition? Issues that matter to you. 1-800-534-8255. Waiting to hear from you. For the Record.
This is For the Record with Orrett Connor.
Good morning and welcome back to For the Record. I'm sure by now, as soon as I say that, you know exactly who my guest is, but I will still introduce him. It is my pleasure to have in the studio again with me this morning none other than Dr. Steve McField. Doc, good morning. Welcome back to For the Record.
Good morning, Mr. For the Record, and good morning to all your listeners and your in the For the Record land and all of those in the Cayman diaspora and all those who listen to you Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays. It's good to be back with you again, especially at the end of the year at Christmas time. Today, I hope we can have some fun. Mm-hmm. It's not a serious day. We're going to leave all the politics and stuff behind today. Yep. And we are going to sort of reminisce about the old time Christmases and what they did. And then I would like to first of all, this morning when I got up, I gave thanks for bringing me for God bringing me out today for another year. It's not finished yet, but I'm going to own it. It's been great. It has not all been rosy. It has not always been a good path. I'm sort of disappointed I didn't get so many things that I wanted to do finish in this year. But
you've had both hands full. You've been really occupied.
Yes. So I would like to say greetings to all of the people and your listeners and who listen to us, and all my friends and my family, my daughter, my sons, my grandchildren, my sisters and my brothers, and all of those people. Like I say, greetings for the seasons to them, and I hope that when Christmas comes, they'll have a merry Christmas, and when New Year comes, they will enjoy the New Year and look forward to 23. It's been a up and down year, and I noticed today you have a copy of Old Northwestern magazine. I was so surprised when you showed me an article about one of the old icons. Especially he was very important around Christmas time. Not only Christmas time, but all the dance hall, all the town hall dances, and the state dances and the town hall dances, and that's a man called the late James Thomas, the great clarinet player, James Thomas and his band. And I remember the last time I heard James Thomas play, the last time I heard they call him Tommy. The last time I heard Tommy play was in 1977. I had just returned back home. Okay. And that was the last time that they had annual Christmas marches. Christmas 1977 was the last time in Cayman that they had the Christmas marches. That was when the marches ended. And I remember him, sometimes they had to carry him. Two men would be carrying him because he was blind. But he also drank a lot of rum. And when the rum hit him that he couldn't walk, two men would hold him up under his arms and carry him until the march was over. And the march usually ended at Christmas time at Scranton, right behind where we are now. Yep. And that was the I would say that was the Harlem of Georgetown. That was where all the things happened. Not only was it Christmas, but at Easter time they had a lot of fun there. Plat pole, merry-go-round, greaser pole, cake sale, all that sort of stuff that happened at Scranton. Scranton was really the place to be. And Scranton was always where the march would turn out in the morning, would end after going around Georgetown all night. The march would end there. And by the way, when you were a young man, when you were a teenager, and your parents allowed you to follow the marchers, that then that was the time that you were getting ready to leave there, to leave.
Yes, you're breaking out there.
You're breaking out. You're breaking out. Yes. because they harbor the possibility that you might go out and have a drink at that time, and so that was the time when you that was the time when you when you were becoming a man now, and I remember the first time that that I was allowed to follow the marchers. I had a friend who was also deceased named Morris General. Yeah, you know Miss Kathleen, who was Kathleen, young Kathleen brother, and he was my friend. And
what was his name?
Morris.
Okay.
Morris General. And we got to go to listen to the march.
That would be Miss Kathleen Hodson.
Yes,
Hodson, right?
Morris General and Cheryl Gorey and Cheryl Whitaker, and we went and we were following the men, and because we were young, we hadn't reached 17 yet. We were following the men, and we followed them all up to South Church Street, up past Duke and Mary's house out near I can't remember the gentleman's house now, but then we fell asleep. We sat by the side of the road waiting for them, and we fell asleep, and the marchers passed us and went on their way. And when we woke up, we were trying to find where they were because Georgetown had no lights at that time at night. All the lights were off at 9 o'clock in the evening, in the night. And we finally heard sound.
So that would have been Mr. Charles Hislop would have still been providing the
That's right.
lights at that
Charles
point in time?
Hislop was still been providing light from the old parlor, and we heard this. We listened to the sound in the dark, and we heard them, and we followed the sound, and we found them down by Miss Annie Borden's house on North Short Street. They were at Miss Annie Borden's house, then serenading, and we joined them. And we went all through Copper Boilers and through Rock Hole and all those places.
Okay, folks, we've reached that time of the morning, top of the hour, 8 o'clock news. When we return, the conversation with Dr. Steve McPhee will continue, so please stay tuned.
Thank you, Mr. Connor. And studio time by Foster's is 8 o'clock.
Mode activated. Foster's Christmas holiday dinners are back with new recipes, creating an even better spread.
Order your main, sides, and dessert online, then pick it up in store, all ready for the family to feast on.
Choose from smoked Cayman-style jerk pork shoulder, oven-roasted turkey, or maple glazed ham.
Then select 3 sides and either pumpkin or apple pie for dessert. Plus, every order comes with dinner rolls, gravy, and cranberry sauce.
Order your Christmas holiday dinner online today at fosters.ky.
Foster's, better because we care.
The voice of the Cayman Islands.
89.9 FM in Grand Cayman and 93.9 FM in Cayman Brac and Little Cayman.
Silver wings shining in the sunlight.
Radio Cayman.
The 8 a.m. news is brought to you by ValueMed Pharmacy. Save time and order your prescription refills online at value-medpharmacy.com. VALU-medpharmacy.com.
For today's biggest news.
Radio Cayman, the voice of the Cayman Islands.
With your latest news, I'm Carsley Fuller. Lawmakers debate and ultimately shoot down a private member's motion by the leader of the opposition.
And whereas the traffic situation continues to worsen and negatively impact the lives of citizens, be it therefore resolved that government consider as a matter of urgency reviewing the recommendations in the report and publishing a response to the recommendations, setting out which recommendations would be implemented.
The Honorable Roy McTaggart there is referring to a June 2020 report by the Committee on Vehicle Imports and Transportation.
Grand Cayman experiences significant levels of congestion on any given day. The chaos and disruption that was caused by the disastrous failure to plan properly for the Pirates Fest road closures may have thrown the problem into stark relief, but the drudge of the commute has become a daily reality for too many Caymanians.
The report mentions reducing the number of vehicles on Cayman's roads by limiting imports. Other suggestions include car sharing, more flexible work arrangements, staggered school starts, and more school buses. The motion failed with 6 ayes and 12 noes in the House on Thursday. The Ministry of Education introduces a new scholarship opportunity for government school graduates. Radio Cayman's Felicia Rankin-Salins has more.
It's called the Government High Schools Scholar Award. Valued at up to 100,000 CI per year, it aims to provide full tuition support to the most outstanding Caymanian male and female scholars accepted to pursue overseas undergraduate tertiary studies at some of the world's most prestigious universities. To be eligible, candidates must be graduating from or have graduated from a government high school with a minimum of 10 passes and grades of A, 1, or distinction. They must also have achieved the Top Academic Performer Award in their graduating year. Students are not required to apply for the Government High Schools Scholar Award. Scholarships will be awarded to the two most outstanding graduates, male and female. Along with 10 passes and a top academic award, the candidate must be Caymanian, have attended a government high school in the Cayman Islands for at least 4 consecutive years, have sat all external examinations from within the public high school enrolled, and last but not least, the candidate must be accepted at a highly competitive university as listed on the Quacquarelli-Simmons 100 top universities for the current academic year. The first government high schools scholars will be announced in January 2023. For Radio Cayman News, I'm Felicia Rankin-Zollins.
Now with a check of international news, here's the BBC, which will take us out of the newscast. I'm Karsley Fuller from Radio Cayman's newsroom.
BBC News with Debbie Russ. The head of the IMF has said China's decision to lift many of its severe COVID regulations will stimulate economic growth in China and elsewhere. Her WTO counterpart said the action would help remove one set of uncertainties confronting the world. The Chinese leader Xi Jinping is holding summits with regional Arab leaders in the Saudi capital Riyadh on the third day of a Middle Eastern visit. Beijing hopes to agree a trade deal with Gulf Arab states. The British government has announced a major overhaul of the financial services industry aimed at boosting growth and competition. The changes include a relaxation of banking regulations introduced after the 2008 financial crisis. The main opposition party in Bangladesh, the BNP, is meeting after 2 of its leaders were taken from their homes by police. They're being questioned about clashes between police and BNP supporters on Wednesday, when a party activist was killed. The UN Human Rights Chief, Volker Turk, says there are serious concerns about human rights in China and he will continue to try to engage Beijing. China has objected to a UN report suggesting its treatment of Muslim Uyghurs could be a crime against humanity. A court in Moscow has found one of Russia's most prominent opposition politicians, Ilya Yashin, guilty of spreading what the authorities claim is false information about the war in Ukraine. President Putin's spokesman has said it would be wrong to see Thursday's prisoner exchange of a US basketball star, Brittany Griner, for the Russian arms dealer as a step towards softening the crisis in US-Russian relations. The South African government has set out plans to decriminalise sex work. Officials say the move will protect those involved in the trade and improve healthcare in a country with one of the world's highest HIV rates. That's the latest. BBC News.
The 8 a.m. news is brought to you by ValueMed Pharmacy. Save time and order your prescription refills online at value-medpharmacy.com. VALU-medpharmacy.com.
Now, more than ever, supporting your immune system is crucial to helping your body fight off illnesses like the common cold, the flu, and COVID-19. At ValueMed Pharmacy on Walkers Road and in Buttontown, we carry all the essential vitamins and minerals to help support your immune system and improve your overall health. Some of our top immunity support picks are vitamin C, vitamin D, zinc, elderberry, and quercetin are the popular 7-in-1 immunity support. Our pharmacists are always on hand to help guide you and answer any questions. Visit ValueMed Pharmacy on Walkers Road or Buttontown. Live happy, live healthy with ValueMed Pharmacy.
Stay in touch with Radio Cayman for the latest in news and information.
Follow Radio Cayman on social media, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Download the Radio Cayman app or log on to our website, www.radiocayman.gov.ky.
Radio Cayman, your voice, your choice, your radio.
Switch from slow to the fastest, most reliable network to get this exclusive Digicel Christmas offer. It costs $0 to switch. It's free and you keep your number. That's not all. Switch today and enjoy 50% off your bill for the next 3 months. Stay on any Christmas plan to get 10 gigabytes of any use data every month for a year on us. That's 10 gigs for TikTok, YouTube, Instagram, and more. Hurry in store and make the switch today with this limited time Christmas offer. It's the Christmas that keeps on giving. Digicel, Merry Christmas! So, you missed out on the Black Friday sales? Don't worry, Roro Variety has you covered. The 10th sale is back 1 day only, Saturday, December 10th from 7 a.m. T-shirts, 5 for $10. Jeans, you name it, Roro has it. Shoes, household items, bathroom accessories, towels, clocks, and handbags. The Roro Variety 10th sale, Saturday, December 10th from 7 a.m. Roro Variety Store, Tropical Plaza, Smith Road. Call 924-9553. The 8:12 a.m. weather report brought to you by CG Britcay, where people come first.
Mommy, why can't dogs talk? Why do I have to go to school and you don't? Why do you sing in the morning when you're bad at it? Why don't you brush your teeth when you take me to school? Why doesn't it ever snow here? Why does Daddy take the bus to work? Why are trees so tall? Why don't you tell me where babies come from? Mommy, Mommy, Mommy!
We're like a kid that doesn't ask a million questions before noon. CG Britcay. Good like that.
Good morning. Let's take a look at the latest weather report. Current temperature is 79 degrees. Relative humidity is 63%. The barometric pressure is 29.98 inches and rising. The wind is out of the northeast at 13 knots. Overnight low temperature was 77 degrees. Synopses indicate fresh northeasterly winds along with rough seas are expected across the Cayman area for the next few days as a strong high-pressure system builds over the southeastern United States. Radar images show isolated showers around the Cayman area, which are drifting towards the southwest. Now, the forecast for today and tonight calling for partly cloudy skies with a 30% chance of showers, and temperatures today will be in the upper 80s and will fall to the mid-70s tonight. Winds will be east to northeast at 15 to 20 knots, and seas will be rough with wave heights of 4 to 6 feet. Small craft should exercise caution over open water for today and tonight as well. High tide will be this morning at 10:56, low tide this evening at a minute after 5, and a high tide again tonight at 9:47. The sun will set this evening at 5:47 and will rise tomorrow morning at 6:49. And the outlook is calling for moderate northeasterly winds by Sunday morning as the high-pressure system moves over the western Atlantic Ocean.
The 8:12 a.m. weather report brought to you by CG Britcay, where people come first.
Hi, my AC just went out and I need someone to come fix it.
I'm sorry, we're closed.
Okay, what about tomorrow?
We're only open on Thursday. And we're fully booked.
Have anything next week?
No.
Okay, when can you send someone out?
The 22nd is open.
I'll take it.
Of December 2023.
With the best medical cover for your dollar, we're like an AC technician who isn't too busy for you. CG Britcay. Good like that.
The traffic report is brought to you by Subway. Planning a meeting, event, or office celebration? Visit subway.ky to place your catering order today.
Good morning once again. Let's take a look this time at traffic. Coming from the east, expect busy traffic, slight delays as you head on down to Georgetown. Traffic on Shamrock Road and coming off of Rex Creighton Boulevard is busy. Also on the Linford Pearson Highway, and traffic is busy heading to Georgetown on Crew Road, and eastbound traffic on Crew Road is moderate. Coming off of the Esteli Tibbetts Highway, busy traffic, and continuing on to Industrial Park area. North Sound Road in both directions, traffic is steady. From the West Bay four-way stop, moderate flow of traffic and traffic flowing at a good pace on Edward Street as well as on Owen Roberts Drive. And into Georgetown on Shedden Road looking pretty good. Out of Georgetown on Shedden Road, traffic is moderate. And the usual traffic flow on Walkers Road, heading to Georgetown, traffic is slow moving. And that's what's happening on the roads. Join us again at about 10 minutes after 12 o'clock. We'll give you another traffic report.
When you're craving something big, something tasty that gives you that lip-smacking satisfaction, something that hits the spot, there is nothing better than a footlong from Subway.
It's pretty tasty.
Filling and full of flavor. Try our new sweet onion steak teriyaki with a twist. Or the classic chicken teriyaki. Top it with green pepper, onions, cheese, and that sweet onion teriyaki sauce, all piled on your favorite artisanal bread. Satisfy that craving with a footlong from Subway.
Fresh, delicious, tasty, meaty.
Let's make it a meal with a drink, chips, and cookies. There is nothing better than a footlong from Subway.
The traffic report is brought to you by Subway. Planning a meeting, event, or office celebration? Visit subway.ky to place your catering order today.
It's the season of gift giving and holiday cheer. Share a magical experience that will be remembered forever with Penna. The perfect gift awaits you at Penna Duty Free, Victoria's Secret, MAC Cosmetics, and Penna Leather Goods. Visit us at 40 Cardinal Avenue, Georgetown, or at The Grove on 1358 West Bay Road. We have the best gift selections at the very best prices. Between December 12th and 24, enjoy the 12 Days of Christmas raffle for major prizes. Start your shopping early and win with Penna.
Tune in every Monday through Friday at 12 p.m. for Radio Cayman's Midday Newscast. Radio Cayman, the People's Station, your trusted official source for the latest news. The 12 p.m. news is proudly brought to you by Health City Cayman Islands. World-class healthcare within your reach.
The Ministry of Culture and Heritage invites all to an evening of delicious food, festive music, and Cayman's most skillful artisans and craftspeople. Cayman Christmas, a celebration of culture and music. Wednesday, 14th December, 5 p.m. to 9 p.m. West Bay Heritage Park. Buy your last-minute Christmas gifts, eat some of Cayman's finest cuisine, and listen to the heavenly sound of choirs in the Christmas Choir Competition. Admission is free.
For the record, with Orrett Connor.
Initiating system. For information that matters. For the record, with Orrett Connor. Continues right now on Radio Cayman.
Good morning and welcome back to For the Record. It is my pleasure to have in the studio with me this morning Dr. Steve McPhail. As you may or may not know, the last show for the Record for this year will be next week, Friday, the 16th of December. So I wanted to ensure that we had Dr. McPhail on the show before, at least one more time before the end of the year. We have a birthday greeting here also, or belated birthday greetings to go out to Theodora Smith, better known as Miss Barbara. So belated happy birthday greetings going out to Miss Barbara, or also known as, or formerly known as Theodora Smith. Happy birthday to you. So, Doc, talking about serenading, there are two stories that I want to share. I want to share the one about Mr. James Thomas, and you mentioned him earlier about being, a clarinet player, and yes, you have some stories that you're going to share with us as well. On Wednesday, I mentioned this article on in the Trade Winds newspaper, the 29th. So those of you who have copies of this, the 29th of December 1966, right? December 1966. And there's an article there about the Christmas serenaders. And I want to mention these names again. Many of them are of beloved memory. Fortunately, some of them are still with us as well. And this photograph, it has been circulated quite widely over the years. It is unfortunate that it is a black and white photograph, but I believe attempts were made that these photographs could actually be enhanced.
Yes.
If those family members wanted to get clearer, more distinct profile of their loved ones, it is possible that could be done as well. So the guitarists in 1966 in that serenading group were they were Mr. Elon Pars and Mr. Shifley Miles. Now, I know I'm sort of like springing this one on you, but for the benefit of our listening audience, I'm going to ask you to tell us what you know about each of these. That what you know about each of these, and whatever experiences that you may have had with them. So, Mr. Elon Pars, let's start.
Elon Pars was the guitarist of the day. He was came from down in Dias Avenue. That's where his mom and all of them, I think they.
Where's from? Belize? Is it Belize or where?
They were in Cuba.
Cuba?
Yeah.
Okay.
And she's descent from North Side mostly.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
So they came. There's Elon, Delhart, and R.D.
Mm-hmm.
They were the brothers, but Elon was a great guitarist,
Mm-hmm.
and I always wondered when after I grown up, why is it that they never go to another country where they could make money off their music and so forth? But he was a great guitarist. He could play he could sing, and he could play in a song. He could pick the guitar. He was a great picker. He could pick the guitar, and he was in the if there was a band, he was in it.
Mm-hmm.
He was the first one that I knew had an electric guitar and came out and could play the Hawaiian guitar also. He could play that. And Shifley Miles, he's a brother for Burt Miles.
Yes, yeah.
And his mother was named Betty.
Betty.
They used to live across the street from us.
And son of Clark as well.
His son of Clark's uncle.
Uh-huh.
And Shifley and both his brother Burt were guitar players. And both of them played with Nemard band. And they played also with James Thomas band.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, James Thomas was the musician of the day. He was the creme de creme. He was it. He was the icon of music.
Mm-hmm.
But he had a rival named Kitchener Solomon that he would allow him to play sometimes, and especially when they had the big dances. The big dances, like when they had the best dressed man's contest,
mm-hmm.
and when they had the district quadrille dance contest. All the district would come together and they would have the quadrille dances in the town hall and they were the West Bay, North Side, East End, Georgetown, Bordentown would come and they would dance off for the contest.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
They were always there playing the guitar. Those people. And then there's another person who was in the band you used in the photograph that you said too.
Okay, so we have Kaislyn Seymour,
mm-hmm.
and Bo Weevil.
Yes.
Bo Weevil. I'm the Kaislyn Seymour. Not sure who that is. He was a drummer.
Yeah, he's a drummer.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, and also a drummer in that era was Mr. Burley Ebanks.
Well, we're going to come to him as
Yes.
well. We're going to come to him. They have him listed as Burley Miles, but I don't know why.
Well, I don't know why they call him Burley Miles, because probably that's a mistake they made when he was Burley Ebanks.
Okay, Bo Weevil now. Bo Weevil, let's talk about him.
Yeah, Bo Weevil. In fact, Bo Weevil's daughter makes fruit cakes.
Yeah, okay.
And I have some fruit cakes ordered from her. I'm going to pick them up this afternoon before Christmas.
Wow.
Bo Weevil was one of the old icons of music. Bo Weevil actually came from Jamaica.
Yeah.
Yes, he came from Jamaica here in the days when when you didn't have to have a passport to come from Jamaica or to go to Jamaica. All you had was a landing card. And Bo Weevil came here in the company of a man called what's his name? Can't remember his name now. Yeah, but
it'll come to you when it comes to you.
But when they came, they didn't have a proper immigration system. Sergeant Colin Nixon, was the chief of police and also the chief immigration officer. Was the sergeant in the police, Inspector Sergeant Nixon. But then he was sergeant.
Yeah, he would have been under Mr. Roddy.
Under Mr. Roddy Watler,
yes.
And he was also the chief immigration officer at the time. And when they got off the flight, coming from Jamaica, they had the little podium between the tarmac, between the aircraft and the terminal building, and that's where you had to give your landing card to Mr. Nixon. And when they asked the gentleman how long he was going to stay, because you have to have your name, your address, how long you're going to stay, he didn't put down what long he was going to stay. And when they asked him, how long are you going to stay, sir? And he said, forever. And he never went back to Jamaica from Cayman.
I think somebody that might also have been attributed to friendship.
Well, yes. Well, Bo Weevil and friendship were in the same together on the same trip. Yes. Okay.
So
that's what I heard.
So we had Bo Weevil, he was a drummer.
Yes.
Mr. Burley Miles was a drummer, and Clyde Seymour was also a drummer.
Yes, right. Clyde Seymour was a very, very good athlete. He and I played cricket together. We played for Georgetown. Clyde's house was right behind here. Right behind here. Clyde's mother was Miss can't remember her name now. But Clyde's father was one of the founding members of the Stratton.
Yes. I'm trying to remember his first name too. Yes. I'm trying to remember his first name. That would be Macasimo's father, Adina.
Yes, Adina
Seymour, and all of those.
Yes.
Okay, and then on the harmonica they had Eddington Miles. That would have also been Simboko.
That would have been Simboko.
Yeah.
That would have been Tabio's father.
The late
Tabio. Merisu.
What we used to call
Phyllis
PL.
Yes. And those father.
Okay. And then the other harmonica player was Calvin Ramon.
Yes. I remember him too, yeah, but I didn't have much dealings with him.
And then on the maracas, they had Michael Johnson and Ivan McFeel.
Yes, Ivan was my cousin.
Okay.
The late Ivan McFeel was my cousin, and also one of my good friend was Michael Johnson. Michael still alive. He lives in West Bay.
Yeah. Michael. Okay, we do have a caller, so we're going to grab the caller. Maybe this caller is going to help us along with some of the names. Caller, good morning. Welcome to For the Record.
Good morning, OC. Morning, Dr. Steve.
Good morning. How are you doing?
Yeah, man, when I listen to you guys, I had fun marching with those guys. I used to play the drum too,
Okay.
Yeah, Mr. James Thomas, like you said, Shaker. And we used to play the harmonica, Nuko.
Oh, yes. Okay. Yes, that's right, yeah.
Yeah, man, look, when you play, get black up, Lord. Yeah, that's the days, man. I can remember going to Moringa Town and people through the window watching Mr. Bo Weevil and Mr. Elon them play, and it's a song by Leonard Skinner, Choose This Gone, a blues song. Every time that I play that song, I can see Mr. Elon playing that. I mean, it really brings back memories,
Yeah. When you look at his son, Eddie, he's almost a splitting image of Mr. Elan too,
Oh, yeah. That's my brother from another mother. Oh, yeah.
Well,
have a good day, man. Huh?
Have you ever heard Mr. Kitchener Solomon?
Yeah. I heard all them guys, man. Oh, yeah, I was a young boy, but look at my old man, he used to be up around Bell and all them at Town 1 3.
Yes.
And I give a joke, Mr. Steve. And I the Sue French, right?
Yes.
You get French had a tight tongue, you know. So you look at beef from Mr. Udley, right? So you say, Mr. Udley, me want 2 pound of beef. That time my man look at him and say, Mr. Udley, not serve me, I serve everybody that time. He grinding his teeth. Somebody say, Mr. Udley, no, he tight tongue, you know. He don't mean what he says. So that having got his Christmas meat, man.
That would be Mr. Udley Miles was his name,
Miles,
right?
yes. Udley Miles.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, under the time and see the big old time and see where the big old crippling made them knock it down or Hercules one into this.
Hercules ordered to be cut down. That one of the largest trees in George in the island.
That was a travesty. But those are the days when the judiciary, for some reason, had all of these powers that no one quote unquote powers that no one questioned.
Yes.
Yeah, and then they cut it down, sir. Because them boys are supposed to read under the tree.
That's right. That's right. Well, I'm going to tell you a story about James Thomas and Mrs. Kitchener Solomon.
Yes, sir.
James Thomas would allow him to play sometimes with him, especially when they had big dances. So they were having a big dance one night. Now it was a quadrille contest, all-island quadrille contest. And James Thomas allowed Kitchener to come on the stage with his clarinet. But then Kitchener was hogging all the solos and cutting James Thomas out. So Tommy now, when they took a break now, Tommy had Clarence, remember Clarence? They called him Black Boy.
Clarence Rivers.
Yeah. And you know, in those days, the dances, they would serve food and stuff things like jam cakes and sandwiches and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
And they pushed a few jam cakes up in Kitchener Solomon's clarinet.
Now, what was a jam cake? Was that the same thing as what we call a cupcake today?
Yes, cupcake.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
And when Solly came back and on stage now, and it was his time to play the clarinet, he went and he couldn't play. So Solly didn't know what was wrong, and then he grabbed his clarinet, put it in his case, and walked off the stage and went home. So he was telling the story to those boys down Captain Men's Bar the next day, and then what happened to you? He says, yes. He says, I was blowing on the stage until my eyes were bulging, but not a sound could I hear. And you remember how he was so precise with the King's English in those days.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
You know. So where did you live in Georgetown?
I live in Mayor Street. Right
on the corner there, opposite Miss Joyce Hilton, right on Miss Alice, and there, right there. Where they recently had a bakery there, right? In that area.
Oh yes, yes.
Yeah.
It's not a jewelry store or something.
Yeah, Mr. Steele.
Yes.
That's why I turned out the way, because I was right across from Matilda Corner, and I used to be down there from a very young age.
Yes.
Yeah, that was a stone's throw from there.
Oh yeah, Dr. Leaf. They had old Murray. They had his name, Dr. Leaf. You know.
Yes, Dr. Leaf.
Let's put it this way: I have seen some things and heard some things down there that a young boy shouldn't see. You know. But it made me grow up kind of tough. You know that way, then?
Yes.
Now, how the name Matilda Corner? Now, there's a Matilda Corner in Jamaica, around halfway tree in Jamaica. Did the guys who went to Jamaica, because we have to acknowledge the fact that if you were sentenced to more than 6 months, basically you serve your time in Jamaica. For those guys, did they bring that name back, Matilda Corner, from Jamaica?
I think so. You know, I think so. See. Yeah, I'm not sure that, because, you know, Matilda kind of, you say with the hangover, they drink and smoke and part and things.
Yep.
Yeah, because when I went to see, it was not called Matilda's Corner, it was called Albert Smith Bar.
Yeah, at first, yeah.
Northern Bar or else Albert Smith Bar. And the other bar was called Southern Bar or Captain Ben's Bar.
Yeah.
But when I came back after that, it was called Matilda's Corner. And you know, Matilda's Corner one time, you used to direct the election in Georgetown. That was those
they would
men
determine it.
determine the election. Determine the outcome.
Yep. Caller, I want to thank you very much for that. We have to go to a commercial break, but we're going to be on here until 9 o'clock, so if you remember anything else, feel free to call us back. Folks, we do have another caller on hold. We will take that caller as soon as we return, so please stay tuned. For the record, we'll be back shortly.
West Bay, home to Barkas National Park, the touristy flair, a family community, a political powerhouse. From sports enthusiasts to car aficionados, affection for silver thatch rope. No matter how far you may venture, West Bay will always be where the heart is. Home will always be in West Bay. West Bay Pharmacy, caring for your home and your family. West Bay Pharmacy in Centennial Towers. Convenient, quality care is just around the corner.
What's that? No sugar, same amazing taste? Coca-Cola Zero Sugar is here to stay. Classic taste, pure satisfaction. Be sure to stop into any Tortuga location and get your own case of Coke Zero. Or grab an ice-cold one straight from the cooler. Brought to you by Tortuga Distributors Limited. Coca-Cola, taste the feeling, K-Man.
Can you imagine your home completely organized? At Brand Source Custom Closets, we can. We specialize in designing and building custom closets and storage units for any room in your home, including the garage. With tailored designs and custom LED lighting solutions to fit your lifestyle and budget. Our custom closets expert is committed to enhancing the value of your home with a solution that is uniquely yours. Visit our showroom or call 623-6774 to schedule a no-obligation appointment with our design expert. Brand Source Custom Closets, 209 Dorsey Drive, Industrial Park.
System 1 loaded. 1-800-534-8255. What is on your mind when it comes to the government, independence, and the opposition? Issues that matter to you. 1-800-534-8255. Waiting to hear from you. For the record.
This is For the Record with Orrett Connor.
Good morning. Welcome back to For the Record. In the studio with me, Dr. Steve McField. One caller on hold. Caller, good morning. Welcome to For the Record.
Good morning, Lucy. Good morning, Dr. Steve. This is Pastor Allison.
Good morning, Pastor.
Sir.
How are you?
Yes.
I'm fine. I just noticed, of course, that because of your context, that you speak only of Georgetown. So I thought I'd remind you that my grandfather, of blessed memory now, Duxie.
Oh, yes. Okay. Oh, yes. Yes. Mm-hmm.
Was been, of course, on Joyce and all those, their father.
Mm-hmm.
He was one of the key musicians down there in West Bay.
Mm-hmm.
And Dr. Steve, you mentioned that 1977 was the last year in which the men did that, the Christmas march.
Yes, sir.
Which was Christmas Eve that did it, right? Was it?
Yeah, Christmas Eve. Eve 1977 was the last time. They did it.
Yeah, and I believe, well, I know that my grandfather and Erskine and Cleveland and a few others, they did that until around the same time. And I couldn't remember which year it was. I knew it was around the time that, must have been around 1977. I thought it was slightly before that. But do you know why why they stopped? I mean, I sort of looked at the circumstances. I know everything had changed in Cayman. And, of course, they marched all night. And previous to that, I was thinking, why was it? Because before, people really just, people appreciated the fact that these men went around all night, and they made sure that they were sustained somehow. If they had something to eat, not at least they usually had something to drink. You know what I'm talking about. And it just, it's like the light bulb went on in their head, and they think, well, we're wasting our time. Nobody appreciates what we're doing. Was that why it stopped in Georgetown as well?
No, I think it stopped in Georgetown because there was a lot of kickback against it. But some of the people who had bought properties in Cayman at the time, live in Georgetown, especially around South Church Street and North Church Street. They were not used to the fact that people were coming to their house in the middle of the night and sometime early in the morning, or passing their house or playing music outside, and there was a lot of complaints.
Really?
Yeah, there were a lot of complaints to the police about it. And then that was the first time that the police told the marshals that they would have to have a permit. to do that, and that sort of killed the whole spirit of the whole thing.
Okay, that's simple. I wonder if the government made that ruling for the marchers in Georgetown. I suppose it must have trickled down in West Bay as well, because I was able to look back, and I remember the last time he did it, my grandfather and the few men that were with him. And they stopped outside of the house. We were renting from Mr. Will Barnett's house at that time.
Yes.
In Birch Tree Hill. And I remember this. By the time they got to us, it was probably, I think, was the morning of Christmas Day.
Yes,
you know?
yes.
And that was it. That was the last occurrence. And I was wondering. I knew by that time people had glass windows and maybe some electricity in West Bay and some air conditioning. And I wonder the fact that people simply were not hearing them is what deterred them. But it could be a combination of that, as well as the fact that the complainers caused that very, I think very. I mean, we still did. I mean, the churches still did some of their Christmas caroling. Of course, we did it from the back of a truck.
Yes.
Those days. And those were the days, Dr. Steve and Orrett, when we were so cool. Well, we said cold back then, but cold that we had to wear our sweaters at night and had to cover up with our blankets. Of course, those days are gone. So whether it's global warming or it's Caymanian warming, but that continued. That continues up to today. But the marching, which was a different set of circumstances and had a different tradition. It's unfortunate that stopped. And I, since you mentioned it, I was wondering what was the sort of the nexus? What was really the cause of it, really?
But, I think that was and another cause too. With the 7 March didn't have a lot of men, probably 45 or 50 men, but by that time a lot of men had gone off to sea.
Right,
and the majority of men had gone off to sea, because I remember sometime the march would have 150, 200 men in the mornings, and like you say, in the morning, you remember in those days, Cayman used to be really cold at Christmas time, and the dew would be on the ground.
Yeah, we called it cold anyway.
Yes.
Sweaters and
you had to wear sweaters and jacket and all that kind of stuff. So my grandmother would say, "You got to put on your jacket before you go out there with those men tonight."
Yeah.
But that would be, Pastor, that would be a good subject for research to find out, see if we could determine exactly why those marches stopped.
Yeah. Anyway, I know Dr. Steve's memory is better than he thinks it actually is. So I thought I'd call and just check on that, because I still have that memory that something that never happened after that. And it was as if some light bulb went on in the head of those men, and saying, "But we were just wasting our time."
Yes.
I mean, by the time I'm talking about, whether it was 77 or whatever, there were not hundreds of people marching behind them, but just a few of the musicians themselves.
That's right.
And it had died to the point where it became an anachronism, really, in Cayman at that time, which is sad. We've lost so much that's been Cayman traditions and has been replaced by other traditions.
Oh, definitely. And I can also remember when certain people only came out to go to the marches, like people like the gentleman we were talking about, Con Hewitt.
Hewitt
Seymour.
Hewitt Seymour, yes. Mr. Hewitt Seymour.
Con Hewitt and old Ramon from up in the piece of place is called Monkey Town.
Yeah, or he's called it Surrey Bush as well.
Up in Surrey Bush, and they would come out, and some of those men didn't have any shoes. They would be marching bare feet. I remember Bam Bam.
Yes.
Bam Bam had a big old high pressure cap, a white suit, suit one time, and always dressed in white, and he didn't have any shoes, so he got white marl and covered the top of his foot with the white marl. He was sitting in the bar all night, and when it came to the march, then all the white marl came off, and Pastor Allison, the march was very organized because it had a head man, He had a leader.
Yeah.
A person that would lead and keep the musicians and all the men in uniformity.
Yeah, in the ones that we were talking about there, the leader, the band leader, was Clarence Rivers.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he was the leader in that. But Pastor, you mentioned about the churches and stuff, and I'll share this one with you while we still have you on the line. And this is from the Trade Winds newspaper, the 22nd of December, 1966. Chorus to sing carols, and it reads that a local group has been practicing recently to sing a number of unusual Christmas carols during the festive season. They have been led by Mrs. Daniels, assisted by Mrs. Cook, whose husbands are connected with the airport project. The group plans to perform at Emsley Memorial Church on Wednesday evening, December the 28th at 8 o'clock, and at the Seaview Hotel the same evening of at 9:30. The next night, and I have to scroll down to find the page on that, so forgive me for that. Hopefully I can find it before. Miss Susan doesn't like those gaps in between where there's silence on the radio. Got to be saying something, so I'm trying to see if I could find it. But until I find it, yes, we did have those groups that the church groups and stuff that went out, and I believe that we still have that even today. Any more that you can speak to that?
The Red Bay Holiness Church, they have they've kept that up. With that, they started, I think, during the time from when Pastor Bob Thompson was here. They started going around. Of course, everything is electric now, but everybody sort of look forward to the Red Bay band coming around doing their music. And of course, it's a different situation now. They can drive from district to district. That was not possible back in my grandfather's day.
Yeah, that's not possible. And that reminds me, I had a document the other day. I think I found it in the archives about Daxé and how they engaged him to go to play in Northside to a boat launching. The schooner was built by Will Banks. Will Banks
Miller.
Yeah. And Daxé used to go all about to play music all over, and they had to take boat to go from Georgetown, from West Bay to East North Side.
Yeah.
And all that stuff. I have a picture of him, with his fiddle. I have a picture of him with his fiddle. I keep all of those things. I don't know what I'm going to do when I'm gone, because I have a treasure of old photographs and documents and stuff and things like that.
Well, interesting, Dr. Steve. I was clearing out in preparation for something. My wife was doing it, actually, and found a couple boxes of slides that I had that I had totally forgotten I had those slides. And among those slides were two pictures I took when I was home from college. It would have been about 1970. Pictures of my grandfather. And I went to this. I remember. I look at a picture now. He was standing in the front door. He had his fiddle in one picture. And in another picture he had his guitar, but he made this was his mouthpiece, which was just like a hollowed out branch with some cellophane paper on it, and he would make that noise.
Wow!
Kind of accompanying his guitar playing. And so I got two pictures. They are slides, and now my task is to try to convert the slides into some digital form. And but I had totally forgotten I had those that memorabilia. But I guess I saw a lot of the young folks, if they're listening to us, they think all these old people, they talk about the good old days. But they were really
good. Yes.
Oh yes.
In many ways.
Pastor Allison. That's those. I still live in those. I refuse to come into the 21st century. Even my music is still there, but my thoughts are still there, because that makes me happy. At the end of the day, when I can sit down and reminisce about that and go through my old albums about the good old days.
Okay. Pastor, I want to thank you very much for that. We have to go to a commercial break
of course.
You have a great day, sir, and season greetings to you and to your family and to your congregation as well.
Yes, blessings to you all, guys.
Thank you very much. Folks, please stay tuned for the record. We'll be back shortly.
At Doctors Hospital, we know life happens, and usually when you least expect it. So when unexpected medical issues arise, you need quality care close to home. Located in the heart of Georgetown, our accomplished team of physicians and medical staff treat minor urgent conditions such as migraines, chest and abdominal pain, shortness of breath, burns, broken bones, open wounds, and more. 24 hours, 7 days a week with no appointment necessary. Peace of mind is important when life happens. At Doctors Hospital, we're always here just for you. Need to speak to someone? Call 949-6066.
60 and bossy with J and money. Win a trip, it easy, trust me. Yeah. Come on, just send some money. A instant entry. Look how you're lucky. Bossy, J and money, bossy. J and money, send you go a yard. Scene, bossy. Jamaica well bossy. 60 and bossy. We well proudie.
Celebrate Jamaica 60 with J and money for a chance to win a dream vacation for two to Jamaica, including airfare, resort stay, and more. Send money for a chance to win. Your loved ones will also be entered for a chance to win a brand new car. Competition runs from now until December 24th. J and money 60 and bossy enough.
Call 345-945-2014 for details. Available at J and Money locations across the Cayman Islands.
Bossy, Jamaica well bossy. 60 and bossy.
No J and bank account required.
We think it's time you crossed over to a new vehicle. And with the Toyota Corolla Cross now at Vant Motors, you have plenty of reasons to make the switch. The crossover body and hybrid engine is a sleek design in a sturdy structure with a spacious interior that opens to extensive cargo space. Stuck in traffic? The high-performance self-charging hybrid system automatically switches between gas and electric vehicle mode, helping you lower both fuel costs and carbon emissions. The Corolla Cross has full LED lighting inside and out, an integrated display audio system with energy monitor, and a dual-zone climate control system to ensure comfort for all. Test drive the new Toyota Corolla Cross Hybrid today at Vant Motors, Walkers Road.
At Kirk's Home Center, we can make your life much better. We got it all together. We got a great deal in store for you. From cookware to stereos, from power tools to plumbing supplies. Yeah, we got the best goods with the best price and a service to make you smile. At Kirk's Home Center, we got a great deal in store for you.
For the record, with Orrett Connor.
Initiating system. For information that matters. For the record, with Orrett Connor. Continues right now on Radio Cayman.
Good morning. Welcome back to For the Record. We're talking about serenading in the Cayman Islands, Christmas serenading in the bands. And we are extremely grateful for Pastor Alston sharing his sharing his experiences with us as well, and certainly grateful for him conversing with us. We do have one or two callers. So one caller. Let's go to the phone lines. Caller, good morning. Welcome to For the Record. Good morning, caller. Welcome to For the Record.
Good morning. Good morning. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Yes, you are.
Steve.
Hey, Howard now, Renford.
I'm good. That's good. Nobody do Renford. That's not a common need.
Yes.
Listen to that. The year that season greetings to both you and Steve.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah. The year that he's talking about is right. What happened is it had started the marching out because I used to follow them area as a little boy.
Mm-hmm.
And Simboko used to be the head man up with the stick. You know, he's have the stick going and swinging it from hand to hand.
Yes.
Right. And it had started to fade down because of the not much march. So they used to start going on track back.
Okay.
From the big tree. They get together under the big tree down by Strata, we call it Monk, and they get on the track back. And this particular year that it seems that they was on the track back going to places, and they went down. I do remember which governor it was, but they always used to go to the governor's house to march. They went down to the governor's house there there, and the governor's wife was not very welcome of them.
Yes.
Right? And then you know they used to sing a song. You remember the song they used to sing the special marching song?
Mm-hmm.
Hip hip hooray, hip hip hooray, hooray. And then after they say hip hip hooray, they would say England got the money
and Jamaica got the rum. Yes.
England got the money and Jamaica got the rum as we go
marching on. Yes.
Hip hooray. Yes.
Hip hip hooray. And she partly run them out of the government properly, run them from there. And them boys went back on, and from then they decided it wasn't going on because they really faded down. It was just like Simboko, like what you call it, like those boys that Hillard
Michael Johnson.
Yeah. It wasn't much of that. You know, they were kind of high-minded. They were political at that time. Michael and them, and they decided they wasn't doing it no more.
Okay.
That's one of the reasons why it stopped.
That is good to know that. Good, thanks for sharing that.
Well, Rennie, I was just reminiscing about the old-time music. In every district, they had a band. Most of they had a musicians family.
That's right.
In our side, it was Nicodemus Brown.
Mm-hmm.
And in East End was Radley Garzon. And in Georgetown, it was James Thomas and Kitchener Solomon.
James Thomas and Kitchener Solomon.
And then in West Bay was Doxy. And I don't know who used to play in Bordentown. I didn't know Bordentown had. They had a guy called. They got a guy called Qbert. I don't know if you remember him.
No, but they had one. Yes.
They had a guy called Qbert. If anybody knows what was the last name of Mr. Qbert, he used to play the fiddle, and I remember they used to hire him from Bordentown to come down to play at the Tachin. I remember hearing him play down at Francis' house one night when they were doing the Tachin. You know what the Tachin was?
Thatch in the roof.
Yes. When they would take the thatch off the roof, they would take a part, send up some thatch and patch that part, take another part off, send up some thatch and touch that part.
That's right.
And then when the thatching was finished, the owner of the house had to put on a dance that night. But that's what the kitchen dancers call them, kitchen dance.
They had kitchen dance.
Yes. Yeah. And then they would have the drums going there and the violins going there and so forth going there, and they had to provide the food. And usually they would have fish, lobster, and rundown and all that kind of stuff.
That's right.
Food.
That's right.
And usually, Tachin was on a moonlight, because while the men was inside, they used to have a little party outside for the children, where the children used to play "Blonde Girl in the Rain," tra la 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 la, "Brown Girl in the Rain," tra la la la, "Brown Girl in the Rain."
Show me your motion, tra la 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 la.
Yes.
And the famous kitchen dance in Georgetown, Mr. Calvin would play down behind Francis.
Yes, Mr. Calvin Seymour.
Yes, Calvin.
Yes.
That's how the famous kitchen dance there. And the same marchers used to go there and play too, you know.
Yes.
They used to play too.
Mr. Calvin was a serious man. I used to be scared of him. Remember, he would ride around with the machete stuck in the back fork of the bicycle. He would always have his machete with him. I guess that's tradition from Cuba and working in the cane fields there and whatever. But he was a serious man.
Old Martin used to do that too.
Mr.
Oh, yes.
He used to call him machete the Christian towel.
Christian towel, yeah. Con Arthur. He say, I know one damn thing. He say, these people nodded right up to Martin Square. J.D. Martin, Edmund Seymour, and Colin Seymour, they ain't coming up here. and he said, every time he say, I have a party for my daughter Edna. That old Steve Markfield come from Mary Street. He comes up to the wedding to mash it up. Yeah, Con Arthur Martin. But he was a big shot.
I just know when you guys talk about when you call Bam Bam too. I mean, Bam Bam used to like to dress up like sailor man, no socks on, he had his little hat on, and then, so one day we call him, Halga will suit thing. He say, you know, niggas on the talk food. He say, I don't want to came on and went to war. He said, I went to war. I think you want to kill me.
Yeah. But Rene, you remember? I don't know if you were part of this or the story about one of our good friends who, of past memory, who had stole the sack with the rum one march as well, and they couldn't find it afterwards.
No, I wasn't part of that.
But I heard the story. You heard the story about it, right? That they stole the sack of rum. His brother talks about that.
Well, Rennie, you heard the story about what happened on Christmas morning. One Christmas morning after the march, ended up down in Trenton when Leon Byrd had stabbed Harold Miles.
Yeah. Cause you know them days they would share. You go to people place, they would give either rum or cake or cigarette. But and then they have an extra man with the bag, or he showed up putting everything in.
Yes.
And then they go down there and share it, and then they would get drunk. But them days they would fight or like that. Yeah.
They would fight about women.
Yes.
And especially those what my grandmother say, LBD and W, light bright and damn near white women. They would come from Kim Brock. They would come from North Side. They would come from West Bay. Charlie Martin was married to one sister, one of them. Mr. Rupert Oxon was married to one. Mr. Boyer was married to one. And Leon Byrd was married to one from Northside, named Miss Ursula.
Them days when you were courting a woman, you had to ride bikes to go West Bay, Northside,
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
Or you ride your bicycle.
Yes. Yeah.
Renford, want to thank you. Thank you very much for that as well. We have to go to our headline news in about a minute or so. Meanwhile, we're going to be here until 10 o'clock, so please feel free to call us back as well. So I just want, Ms. Susan reminds me that I still got to have about a half a minute left. So the story, again, with this carolers that I was sharing with Pastor Alston Ebanks had to do with, it said that on the 29th of December that this caroling group would perform at the West Bay United Church at 8 o'clock and at the Galleon Beach Hotel at 9:30. Then on Friday night, they would perform at the West India Club at 9 o'clock and at the Beach Club at 10 o'clock the same evening. They hope to sing at Bordentown as well, but the time had not been determined at that point. It goes on to say that the group is reported to be very talented and a very good performance is expected on all occasions. A collection will be taken at each performance as a fund to assist children through the probation officer. A hearty invitation is extended to all to come and hear this group and donate generously to a worthy cause, which was to assist the young children through the probation officer. And of course, we know the probation officer at that time was none other than the great Miss Joyce Hilton. Folks, top of the hour, headline news. Please stay tuned for the record. We'll be back shortly.
Today's biggest news.
Radio Cayman. Your voice, your choice. Local, regional, international. This is headlines from Radio Cayman's newsroom.
Today's biggest news.
Lawmakers debate and ultimately shoot down a private member's motion by the leader of the opposition asking government to consider implementing recommendations from a June 2020 report by the Committee on Vehicle Imports and Transportation. It was an effort to alleviate traffic congestion. The motion failed with 6 ayes and 12 noes. 10 months after she left the U.S. to play basketball in Russia, WNBA star Brittany Griner has landed in her home state of Texas. Griner was jailed for carrying cannabis oil at a Moscow airport in February and was exchanged for Russian arms dealer Victor Bout on Thursday. The pair were seen crossing on the tarmac at Abu Dhabi airport. President Joe Biden said Griner was in, quote, good spirits and needed, quote, time and space to recover. And the UK's Prime Minister has announced a collaboration between the UK, Italy, and Japan to develop a new fighter jet that uses artificial intelligence. The Prime Minister said the joint venture aims to create thousands of UK jobs and strengthen security ties. The nations will develop the next generation fighter due to enter service in the mid-2030s that will eventually replace the Typhoon jet. It's hoped the new Tempest jet will carry the latest weapons. Those are your headlines. I'm Carsley Fuller.
For the latest in news and information,
follow Radio Cayman on social media, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Download the Radio Cayman app or log on to our website, radiocayman.gov.ky.
For the record, with Orrett Connor.
Initiating system.
For information that matters. For the record, with Orrett Connor. Continues right now on Radio Cayman.
Good morning. Welcome back to For the Record. We have two callers on hold, and we're going to go straight to those callers. I just want to quickly go over the rest of the remainder of the members of the group for the Christmas serenading. So we had on the maracas, Michael Johnson, Ivan Macfield, the leader, Clarence Rivers. Vocal supporters were Norman Bawden, J.D. Martin, who's still alive and well, and I want to say good morning and to J.D., George Bawden, and Dan Stewart. They were the vocal supporters. So I guess, you know, in if they were on stage, they would
lead singers.
They were the backup singers.
Backup singers
To the vocals as well. Let's go to the phone lines. Caller, good morning. Welcome to For the Record.
Yeah, good morning.
Hey, good morning, sir. How are you? Season greetings to you.
Many happy returns. I'm trying to recuperate from.
Oh yeah, good morning, sir. Good morning. Season greetings to you, sir.
Listening to your conversation, getting excited. So I wanted to throw in a little Bordentown because we had a healthy part of that culture in Bordentown too, you know.
Okay.
In the 1920s, there was an old man who used to live up on the east. We call him Reed. His real name was Reed Green.
Oh yes, I heard about him. Yes, Reed Green.
He's the man that he used to make the fiddles. He could make the fiddles and come in time for the kitchen dance. It was he and his brother Halford Green and a man called Old C, Cyril Rankin. And then they had a guy with them too, Charlie Banter. I'm not sure about Charlie Banter. He may have been from Jamaica. But he was in the band with them too. And we had a place down Combe Avenue they used to call Aunt Charles. Down Aunt Charles. Some people used to call it Chevette. That's where the famous dances would be. Reed Green and them would come down there. And down this lady, Aunt Charles, was Miss Lohima's mother. That was the famous dance maker in Bordentown in the 20s and 30s.
Wow.
So later on then, in my time of growing up, you had a different set of people that used to serenade Tommy Berry and all these guys from Gun Square. And then, of course, the culmination of all these festivities was on New Year's Day. Then the Presbyterian Church had their garden party at the manse. And then that was when the famous John Canoe would come out.
What happened to that?
On New Year's Day. Well, what happened to that was that when the men began to go to sea, because it was mainly out of Gun Square, Lorenzo Burnham. I spoke with Lorenzo some years ago, and we were thinking about renewing it. But when the men went to sea, that is when John Canoe really died out, because John Canoe was an all-male troupe. The men were dressed as women and were dressed as different characters, and then they had the accompanying band. But when they went to sea with national boat carriers and all the men went away, then they were not enough to continue the practice, and it eventually died out. But that is a true part of our Caymanian culture. Yeah, and the serenading and all that kind of stuff. They've been singing all these old songs. I realized since I got older how foolish they were, but England got the money and Jamaica.
Yes.
England got the money and Jamaica got the rum.
Yes.
And then we go marching along. That was one of the songs. And then they had, of course, other old sea shanties and stuff. But those were great times.
But when you went to sea and came back, Bordentown was the place to be on New Year's Day. If you had to be in, if you
garden party.
Garden party. I remember when I was younger, before I went to sea, you had to book your passage to get to Bordentown, like from October, November.
Yeah.
Otherwise, if you get left, there was nowhere to get to Bordentown. You would have to. It was either Pat Lunza or Mr. Ira or Sunbeam or Boye, and when you hear say the band's gone up. James Thomas, boy, you go with James Thomas, you know. Then if that boy is not coming back again to bring anybody else, and then later on they had Charles Band's bus taking people up there.
Yes,
and I remember that's when I used to see the famous Alvin Smith daughters.
Yeah, but he was from Bordentown, you know.
Yes. They used to have all of the best clothes, and we used to admire them. When they came to Bordentown at on New Year's Day, I remember coming home just to be home at Christmas and going to Bordentown's garden party.
First the dances would be in the town hall, and then later Anton he had a place they used to call it the stage.
Yes.
Anton Borden's place. He had a place with a store down below and a dance hall up top.
Yes, but did that also become named the Bucket of Blood?
Well, there used to be a lot of fights there, but the Bucket of Blood was probably a club they had called the United Brothers Beach Club.
Okay.
Which was owned by Jim Wood and his brothers and them up in Seas Bay.
Yeah.
Up in Seas Bay. That's where a lot of fights would be. I remember one night, Mr. Tom Jefferson, as a young man, he got a cut there. He got a bad cut up there in a fight. Yeah, that's where they used to call the Bucket of Blood.
And William Bill McCoy was the district policeman, and he used to keep the peace during all those times of garden party. William Bill McCoy.
Yeah, Bill Ration.
Yes.
That's what we call him. Bill Ration. Man, he was king.
He was the king.
His word was the final authority in those days. But he had real old time good music, the maracas and the greater. The greater was a part of the instruments. They had the greater and the maracas and the drums and all that. Yep.
And all the food, the sorrel, the rabbit, the beef, because that was when you got to eat beef. They would have all kinds of things. Got the coconut tarts, the coconut candies, the cake, the light cakes. Oh, that was a time.
Yep. You had an old man called Livingston Terry. He was one of the first policemen when he retired. He was famous for sorrel. People came from all over the island to buy his sorrel. He was married to a woman called Aunt B. And he used to have a bakery too, lived down in Comba Avenue. Where is Comba Avenue now? Then Terry opened up. Then Livingston Terry opened up. If you had a bottle of Livingston Terry sorrel at Christmas, man, you were in hog heaven.
Yes.
Well, Mr. Borden, want to thank you. Thank you very much. We hope that you make a full recovery. I'm told that flu, that some people are saying that it is actually worse than COVID.
Well, boy, if in my experience is an indication, this is not easy.
Okay.
Anyway, gentlemen, I shall continue to listen.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
We have another caller on hold, but before we take that caller, since Mr. Borden is called in about Bordentown, I'm going to share with you an article from the Tradewinds newspaper for the 1966, and the author, the correspondent, I should say, for the district of Bordentown at that time was Mr. Willie Wood. And it says, Christmas 1966 so far has passed very quietly, even though it appears that there is more prosperity than last year. The homes your correspondent was able to visit were filled with happy parents, and children were overjoyed with the abundance of nice toys and practical gifts which were displayed under the trees. Refrigerators and shelves were bursting with a large assortment of meats, groceries, and drinks. Mr. Scotland, managing director of Bordentown Light and Power, displayed his Christmas spirit by giving electricity for several hours in the early mornings. This was enjoyed by housewives who have toasters, record players, and other gadgets which they hope to be able to use in the near future on a full-time basis. Goes on to say that the United Church was filled almost to capacity in an inspiring message, and an inspiring message was brought by the Reverend Williams. Special mention must be made of the choir, who gave a wonderful rendition under the capable management of the choir master, Mr. C.A. Hunter. That would be Clifton Arthur Hunter. When the notices were read, it was very depressing to learn that the children's Christmas program for the night could not be, as it appears parents were too busy to see their children attend rehearsals. This should never happen, as parents should be aware of the fact that the programs help their children both spiritually and educationally, which is very essential to the young ones today and in the future. On the brighter side of the notices disclosed that the garden party would be held as usual on the grounds of the manse on Monday, the 2nd of January, and it is hoped people from all over the island will attend to enjoy themselves and partake in the big feast which is being prepared for one and all. Shortly after the service at the United Church, we heard that a children's program would be staged at the Church of God Chapel. My wife and I, accompanied by Dr. and Mrs. Crawford, found the little chapel almost filled to capacity. Fortunately, we were able to get seats. The program was started by opening remarks by Chairman Miss Floris McCoy and a short prayer by Pastor Williams. The program, even though lengthy, was soon gone through by the small tots, which consisted of songs and recitals. This concluded all the items, but the last, which was a play entitled No Room in the Inn. This was done by a number of teenagers who acted their parts nicely. With the closing remarks, the evening's program by the chairman and benediction by pastor brought the evening's program to a close. So that was Mr. Willowwood reporting.
A great writer.
We're going to take a break. I know our next caller is probably going to be a little bit upset, but we ask you to, for a little of your patience. Quick commercial break, and we will take your call. We also have a voice note, Miss Susan, that it's pretty lengthy, but we're going to play that as well. Folks, please stay tuned for the record. We'll be back shortly.
What's that? No sugar, same amazing taste? Coca-Cola Zero Sugar is here to stay.
No one can stop me when I taste the feel.
Classic taste, pure satisfaction. Be sure to stop into any Tortuga location and get your own case of Coke Zero. Or grab an ice cold one straight from the cooler. Brought to you by Tortuga Distributors Limited. Coca-Cola, taste the feeling, K-Man.
At Doctor's Hospital, we know life happens, and usually when you least expect it. So when unexpected medical issues arise, you need quality care close to home. Located in the heart of Georgetown, our accomplished team of physicians and medical staff treat minor urgent conditions such as migraines, chest and abdominal pain, shortness of breath, burns, broken bones, open wounds, and more. 24 hours, 7 days a week with no appointment necessary. Peace of mind is important when life happens. At Doctor's Hospital, we're always here just for you. Need to speak to someone? Call 949-6066.
Your dream home starts with a vision, and often inspiration is at the heart of that vision. Brand Source Home Gallery's in-house designers are here to help bring your vision to life. Whether you're remodeling or building a new home, Brand Source Home Gallery is your one-stop solution. Explore their kitchen cabinets, sinks, faucets, bath fixtures, tubs, vanities, and more. Let Brand Source's designers help and inspire you with your next project. Call 623-5000 and schedule an appointment with a design expert at Brand Source Home Gallery, Dorsey Drive, Industrial Park, serving Cayman for 50 years.
For the record, with Orrett Connor.
Initiating system.
For information that matters. For the record, with Orrett Connor. Continues right now on Radio Cayman.
Good morning and welcome back to For the Record. We're going straight to the phone lines because that caller has been waiting for a while. Caller, good morning. Welcome to For the Record.
Yeah, but I've been waiting for a while. Good morning to you guys.
Good morning.
But, you know, I'm not upset with it.
Okay.
The only thing I'm upset with is that we have to wait until we get a little Christmas breeze for you and Dr. McPhail and Renee and Teacher Roy to bring me back and remind me of my childhood days. Such a rich history and culture that we have.
Isn't it?
Right? And we have to wait until Christmas breeze start coming for it to have a program like this.
Yes.
That you should organize having a program like this periodically.
Yes.
Because our whole history and culture is being changed in one generation, my friend. In one generation, because I remember growing up in East End listening to Radley and the Harper Boys. That was the music we had until Mr. Howell and the Lynx and Lame and the guys come along, right? And we're talking about Garden Party. Dr. McPhail can attest to this. Garden Party was one of the biggest days in East End on the 26th. Barton Town was the first. We were the 26th Boxing Day. We had everything involved that day. Dr. McPhail would leave Georgetown from 6 in the morning and don't get there until dance start at night at Warren Stage. Because we would have the garden party, we would have the concert at the town hall, and then everybody go. The older ones then would go to Warren Stage for the dancing. That was what Dr. McPhail would usually catch. And I heard that garden party was stopped in East End because it was sanctioned by the church, Presbyterian Church,
right.
because a pastor came here and decided that we shouldn't have that no more.
Oh.
Something that we had merry-go-round, we had the grease pole, you climb it to the top to get the money at the top. I mean, this was what we grew with. And now, my kid knows nothing about it. I can't even explain it to them. Because we get somebody to come here, they say, oh, no, the church shouldn't have no garden party. And we had it from time of beginning. That is not right. And but we allow people to come here and do that. And Teacher Roy was talking about Junkanoo. Do you know the people that migrated from here that went to the Bay Islands in Honduras that carry all our names? I've been down there like on many occasions in Christmas. Man, a couple of the guys that live here now that from there. And they still have Junkanoo on Boxing Day. Boxing Day, and I think it's Christmas Day or Boxing Day. I don't quite remember. But they still have Junkanoo because they took it from here and took it there with them. And up until today, all the youngsters are running Junkanoo just after Christmas or Christmas Day. I can't remember exactly.
Good for
but
them.
That's regular. That's part of their tradition and their celebration during the Christmas season. I remember killing a cow. Killing cow for Christmas was a big deal.
Oh yes.
In East End, we had Garden Party 26 was a big day. You had to get there. Bonfire on the 24th. You had to get there. And Old Year Party. Right now, the environmentalists come along now and tell the East End people that they can't have bonfire no more in the sea. This is something that, and when we were having bonfire in the sea, I remember as a young boy, while the bigger men were building the bonfire, we would be out there diving conchs, just piling them up to see how much conchs each one could get, but we would just leave them there. You know? But now, I don't know what makes them think that building the bonfire in the sea is a harm to anything. because back then we could fish in off the beach and catch fish.
And you could walk out in the water and get your conchs.
Yes,
and lobster.
And lobsters. So I don't know what all of a sudden now somebody got to come here and tell us that we can't traditionally build a bonfire no longer. Something that our people started long before their people started long before their people. And now somebody can just come here and tell us, no, we can't do it. And then we're going to put up with that.
Yep.
Like I told those guys in the East End, build a bonfire and give all those guys up on the back road plenty of liquor to drink until the authorities come. You know? Can you imagine they coming in East End back in the day and telling those men that was 7'10", 230 pounds that they can't build a bonfire?
Oh yeah, sure.
Can you imagine?
They capitulated to them. That's why it's not. We don't have those things now. And then those people who stood out and stood for their culture were called troublemakers. And then the other people, the other majority of the people who were then led against them. They put people together. You know, the old law of divide and conquer.
So it's a good program. OC, I like all the reminders, but it seems like we can only
well, Monday morning we're going to have more of it. The ministry and the departments they're organizing something. We will have several people in the studio here, as well as some connections in the BRAC by telephone as well. So listening on Monday morning, we're going to have more of it.
Okay.
Talk
to you guys later.
Take care.
Okay.
All the best. Want to share some WhatsApp messages. This person says, listening to your show and various discussions leading into Christmas festivities in Cayman. I was recently having a discussion on the traditional Cayman foods made during the holiday and wondered if Mr. O.C. and Mr. MacPhail can speak to whether of the uniqueness of how Christmas foods, for example, beef, wilks, etc., is made and how they've changed much over the years. I think what we need to recognize first is that before we had electricity and we didn't have refrigerators, so nowhere to store food.
No.
The traditional meats at that time were basically
fresh
beef and pork on Christmas.
And you cook them together.
Because you could get lobster, you could get fish,
Yes.
you could get, at any point in time, chicken was another thing that we didn't have a lot of importation then, but you had men like Funny from West Bay who would ride around on their bicycles and sell chicken, the live fowl to various people and stuff.
And there
like
were also
that.
there were also the hams in the can, and the ordinary hams that would come in at Christmas time. You had to go down and try to get them because they wouldn't keep them too long. And you would hang them up in the kitchen. You hang up the hams in the kitchen and cut off pieces as you go. And then there was the hams in the big in the cans.
Yeah,
you had to open up the cans and kick the ham out. And that was a big delicacy at Christmas time too.
Yeah, and if you had family who lived in the States and were coming home for,
they would bring them
as well. Now, as far as fruit is concerned, if you want to know a little bit about that, it was a joy to walk out on Shedden Road, where Kentucky Fried Chicken is now, and Marin's, and when you walked across there, even Mr. Shirley's store, and you would smell the fresh fruit, the apples and the grapes and stuff like that.
Right.
And, they weren't filled with preservatives and stuff like that. At that time, you could smell the genuineness of our apples. But beef and pork were basically the big things. Turtle meat, yes, that was there as well. And of course, those days we got the wild turtle. We didn't have a turtle farm,
They would kill so many turtles for the day, and if there was a short, they would then go to the crawls and take more turtles and kill them too.
But things like wilks, they are quite commonplace. Quite commonplace. Now refer to them as a delicacy because of the scarcity. But in those days, it was certainly commonplace. But I want to thank that listener for asking that question, as well. And we hope that we have enlightened you some. If you have any more questions, please feel free to call. Then we had this person who knows a whole lot about Northside, and he says that all that Mr. Roy talked about in Bordentown, he said it wasn't better than in Northside. He said the performances on the fiddle of Harrington Green and Walter Brown and Ned Miller, the auctions of the ground provisions was the highlight of the garden party, with buyers, bidders from all over the island. And the garden parties were basically fundraisers for their churches as well. We do have a voice note. We're going to play that voice note as well. Miss Susan, ready for the voice note?
Morning, Mr. Steve. I hope you're doing well. OC, you're doing well. It was a period of time, I guess, that you went over to New York, kind of young OC, and Mr. Steve, he also went away for a little while as well. But there was a man, a fella from Eastern, they call him Denby. He was killed in prison in Jamaica. Before it was, because, I lived right next to Matilda Corner as well, right on Mira Street. 3 or 4 minutes walk. I used to go and get all of this stuff. I was a Elon man from morning, and a man from Jamaica called Finas, that he used to play guitar. He had a wonderful guitar, but he wouldn't make nobody play it, wouldn't make nobody even touch it. He used to ride a bicycle all the time. He used to stay right there, somewhere near to by where Patterson shop was, on Shaden Road. And at that time it was called Mr. Alvis Smith Bar, the Northern Bar. But Denby, he went to Jamaica early. I think on the Morocco or something, it was the first time that it was called Matilda Corner, when Rudell Johnson and Michael and I think it was Edward Johnson. Edward, I think, is still alive, and could be Rudell too. He used to live in West Bay. But anyhow, when Denby came back, because he had used to frequent Matilda Corner in Jamaica, and where all of the festivities to take place, they gather there and drink and talk and laugh and eat. Then Denby say, man, he say, down here, man, he say, remind me of Matilda Corner in Jamaica. He said this is the same thing, only thing we don't got different name. And yeah, this Mr. Alvis Smith Bar, but anytime I want to come down here by this bar, I tell them bring me Matilda Corner, because it's the same way. And from that time, they started calling Mr. Alvis Smith Bar the Matilda Corner. I used to run up and down and get the breadfruit, get the salt, the pepper, and the onion for Elon, because when he come in, I used to wait on him. He more or less tell me what time to come there, right on the rocks, get the fish, and go across the street there. And there's a big pot there, and when they cook, everybody eat. They come from East End certain days, they come from West Bay certain days, but there was always activities right there. And Mr. Robert Bush, Miss Dora and Mr. Robert, and Alan, I think she took Alan away then to New York as well. But that's the first time they started naming that Matilda Corner. That's the story that I learned when I was small and running up and down it. But me and Elon played together for years and years. We fell in love with each other playing, and for years and years we played together. We did happy hours together down at the old Holiday Inn. We played with Mr. S.E. Nemard as well. We played with Ken Davis and the Combo as well. Anywhere Elon played, I would be there and played with him, and he liked my playing and I liked his playing, and we got on very good. And there was a time I was in Belize, and when I landed there on a boat, the first thing someone on the dock in Belize said to me, said, "You from Cayman?" I said, "Yep." He said, "Do you know a guy down there called Elon Paz?" I said, "Yep." He said, "Do you know he was the best guitar player in Belize?" And let me tell you, Elon kept that name because he was an excellent guitar player. Also, along with MacArthur Madison from West Bay, had good guitar players there in that time. Even on the marching for Christmas, I remember Malachi used to shake the maracas too. Oh, see, Malachi used to shake the maracas as well. And they also had a guy there from Shaden Road. I can't remember his name there. He's some family to Cooley. He also used to shake maracas as well, but I can't remember his name. But they were good days, and I mean, Matilda Corner went on for years and years and years and years, and
we want to thank that caller for that. I think we may have cut it a little bit short because we have gone beyond our commercial break. Folks, please stay tuned for the record. We'll be back shortly.
We think it's time you crossed over to a new vehicle. And with the Toyota Corolla Cross now at Vant Motors, you have plenty of reasons to make the switch. The crossover body and hybrid engine is a sleek design in a sturdy structure with a spacious interior that opens to extensive cargo space. Stuck in traffic? The high-performance self-charging hybrid system automatically switches between gas and electric vehicle mode, helping you lower both fuel costs and carbon emissions. The Corolla Cross has full LED lighting inside and out, an integrated display audio system with energy monitor, and a dual-zone climate control system to ensure comfort for all. Test drive the new Toyota Corolla Cross Hybrid today at Vant Motors, Walkers Road.
What's that? No sugar, same amazing taste? Coca-Cola Zero Sugar is here to stay. Classic taste, pure satisfaction. Be sure to stop into any Tortuga location and get your own case of Coke Zero. Or grab an ice cold one straight from the cooler. Brought to you by Tortuga Distributors Limited. Coca-Cola, taste the feeling, K-Man.
So much happening, so fast, too much. It is hard for me to follow my health care instructions. The private counseling with West Bay Pharmacy literally saved my life.
At West Bay Pharmacy, we know how complex medications can be. Our pharmacists are delighted to offer you personalized one-on-one healthcare counseling, free medication review, therapeutic callbacks, and we will liaise with your physician to ensure you receive the best in quality medical care.
Quality of life has a whole new meaning with the right pharmacy to support you. Thank you, West Bay Pharmacy.
West Bay Pharmacy in Centennial Towers. Convenient quality care is just around the corner. Now you can WhatsApp your West Bay Pharmacy prescriptions to 516-0777.
Excuse me, I noticed you from afar.
Really? Me?
Well, not you. The KFC sandwich you're eating?
Oh, Zinger.
Sorry, I'm not trying to be funny.
No, it's called the Zinger Sandwich. Crunchy, juicy, 100% chicken breast, crisp lettuce, sweet mayo on a seeded bun with a little zing. KFC's chicken is not factory breaded, frozen and refried like the Burger Boys. Customize your KFC Zinger and dip it in barbecue sauce.
Wow, now I'm starting to notice you too.
KFC, it's finger licking good.
For the record, with Orrett Connor.
Initiating system.
For information that matters. For the record, with Orrett Connor. Continues right now on Radio Cayman.
Good morning and welcome back to For the Record. For those of you who still have copies of the Nor'Western newspaper, this on their 12th year of publication, August 1983. And in there's a story we spoke. You heard Dr. Macfield speak quite authoritatively about the late James Thomas and his musical prowess. There's a story, and the headline is "A Faint Ray of Hope for Mr. Thomas." And the writer of that article in the Northwestern newspaper was Gretchen Luden. And it speaks about talks about a Dr. Douglas Greer, who was a visiting eye physician and surgeon who went into the Northwestern newspaper to explain the objectives of his nonprofit foundation, which was called International Vision. And it points out that Dr. Greer had been coming from his home in Washington, D.C. to Grand Cayman since 1978. He had examined hundreds of Caymanians and operated on more than 40 persons. One of the operations he performed, intraocular lens implantation, represents the most important advance in eye surgery in the last decade. And says that while in the Northwestern office, Dr. Greer, the first eye surgeon to perform this intraocular lens implant on the island, that was performed on Mr. Vassal Faulkner of North Side. And he gave information packets about the thing. And then it says, goes on to say that a couple of weeks later, the writer, Gretchen, was reading a Caymanian compass, the Caymanian compass, and noticed a story entitled "The Nicest Time of the Year." It had been written by Elizabeth Pat Ebanks, at that time a reporter for the Compass and now associate editor of the Cayman Pilot. That was, so the Pilot was around at that time. Says the article was written in anticipation of the approaching Christmas season, mentioned a Mr. Thomas of Georgetown who would be serenading downtown playing his clarinet. Pat asked Mr. Thomas if he had a Christmas wish, and he answered, and I quote, "If I had a wish, there are so many things I would like to have. Above all, I wish I could redeem my eyesight." And it goes on to say that Mr. Thomas had been losing his vision for many years, and was almost totally blind. He went on to say that in the article, and is quoted as saying, "I don't know what's ahead for me. The older I get, the worse my sight becomes. Sometimes I lie down and think about it. I think about the embarrassment of having someone pull me here and push me there." Then he added philosophically, "But there are millions like me, some worse. I can move, thank God. As bad as I am, there are others who are worse." Mr. Thomas also wished for a good, half-decent house, no elaborate something. So Gretchen says that she was moved by Pat's story and Mr. Thomas's wish, and immediately thought of Dr. Greer and International Vision. So I'm going to start reading there, and just to paraphrase, they arranged when on Dr. Greer's next visit for him. Well, they arranged before that for one of the local eye doctors to see Mr. Thomas, and then Dr. Greer came and performed surgery on him. Unfortunately, because of his advanced stage of the loss of sight and the damage, they were unable to restore his sight. But so again, for you folks, if you're interested in that article, it's the August 1983 to Northwestern, the celebrating its 12th year of publication. Also, in that article, they talk about others who had challenges with their eyesight as well. Mr. Charles Gilman, there's a photograph of him there with helpers Waldo Parchment and Amelia Frederick and his son Dana Gilman as well in that photograph. So that is very touching. And when the mention was made of possible surgery, Mr. James Thomas is quoted, the late James Thomas was quoted as saying, "I will take the chance, doctor. If there's any chance at all, I am willing to try it." So, he was really hopeful. So very, very touching story, and I'm glad that I was able to find this. And again, I have to give big, huge shout out to Miss Sharon Brown for sharing her Northwestern News magazines with me. Like I've said before, there are many Caymanians who have these. We know now of the fact that there is one publication in the Cayman Islands, a media house, that we believe has the full set of Northwestern. I'm also told that the museum also has, whether or not it's a full set, but there are also many copies in the museum as well. Doc, I'm going to pass it over to you for some comments.
Yeah, well, that's great. I would like to get a set of the Northwesters too. Another set of information, books of information I would like to also get a copy of would be the Cayman Islands reports. Mm-hmm. I think they go back to 1900 and something, 1902 or something like that. And I understand that Mr. Peter Polak, the attorney, has a full set of them. Okay. The last time I saw a full set of them was at the archives. They have full sets of them. They're very informative too, and tells the story about the government from month to month in those days.
Okay, that is great. I'm looking through another magazine. Actually, those days we used to even have a Christmas quiz, and there is a article in here. Second time winner found. Christmas quiz, very easy. This is the Northwester, in February of 1979. Miss Rebecca Ebanks is the second time winner of a Christmas quiz. And there is also another article in here that I'm trying to find, and I'm going to have you share this with our listening audience as well in relation. Okay, Cayman's Christmas. There's a Santa Claus with assistance from the Kiwanis arrived in Grand Cayman on Saturday, December the 16th. That would be in 1983, 7 to 9 as well. And that Santa was a person by the name of J. Hargest, and he arrived Georgetown. There was a parade through Georgetown and ended up at the agriculture ground to chat with children, and it's showing photographs there. And then we had a Santa Claus, Mr. McClure Bothwell in West Bay at the preschool on December the 22nd. And then there's a Christmas time for caroling and various schools held concerts. Wednesday, the 13th of December, John A. Cumber Primary School in West Bay held its Christmas concert. Here, the school's choir, under the baton of Mrs. Myrtle McHale, celebrated the season as well. Then there's one on the prep school presenting their Christmas sing-along at the Emsley Memorial Church on December the 15th. Here is a nativity scene from the program as well. So Lots to share with you. We only have about 15 minutes left. Folks, please stay tuned for the record. We'll be back shortly.
JN Money, money touchdown. Send the money no, reach wow. You say you need some money, JN Money, I can send it in a hurry. Get through quick when you come collect your cash, or use a money card and swipe it in a flash. Send funds to any bank, yeah. Pay your bills quick, yeah. Low fees, you know what it, yeah. JN Money, we are pick, yeah. Send and receive funds at any JN Money location. It's fast, affordable, and convenient. Money touchdown with JN Money. Send funds to any bank, yeah. Pay your bills quick, yeah. Low fees, you know what it, yeah. JN Money, we are pick, yeah.
Call 345-945-2014 for details. Available at JN Money locations across the Cayman Islands.
West Bay, home to Barkas National Park, the touristy flair, a family community, a political powerhouse. From sports enthusiasts to car aficionados, affection for silver thatch roof. No matter how far you may venture, West Bay will always be where the heart is. Home will always be in West Bay. West Bay Pharmacy, caring for your home and your family. West Bay Pharmacy in Centennial Towers. Convenient, quality care is just around the corner.
Tune in every Monday through Friday at 12 p.m. for Radio Cayman's Midday Newscast. Radio Cayman, the People's Station, your trusted official source for the latest news. The 12 p.m. news is proudly brought to you by Health City Cayman Islands. World-class healthcare within your reach.
For the record, with Orrett Connor.
Initiating system.
For information that matters. For the record, with Orrett Connor. Continues right now on Radio Cayman.
Good morning and welcome back to For the Record. In the studio with me, Dr. Steve McField. We're in the last leg of the show this morning, reminiscing about Christmas here in the Cayman Islands, sharing experiences with you. Thankful for all of the callers who called in and shared, as well as those who sent in WhatsApp messages. And Doc, there's one other article that we're going to try to share with our listeners as well. This is from the Nor'Wester again. What date is that one?
Nor'Wester, December 83.
Okay.
And it's written by Dorothy Codell, Nee Hutchins.
Okay.
And it starts by Dr. Andy, are you in? John's distress was obvious as he and Jean appeared with their 9-year-old Jason at my screen door of the duplex we shared on the outskirts of Georgetown. It was a dull morning with a threat of rain. With a threat of rain early in November. Come in, I cried. I noticed that Jean looked even more frail and thin, so I plunked her down on the sofa. Her usually lovely auburn hair looked dark and lifeless. The couple had not been getting on too well lately, and I hope it was just because of Jane's health and nothing shattering. The duplex walls were thin. I had to try hard not to listen to the angry exchange of words, for I am very fond of the English trio. It's this time, Aunt B, John. It's this Aunt B, John. Handsome face wore like a stalk of concern. Jeannie has to go into hospital in the Miami for a few days, and there's the problem of Jason. There's no one we can call upon but you, Aunt B. The problem at the moment had grabbed my cat, Flossie, by the tail, and was dragging her across the room. You got me, I declared, as I rescued my pet. I allowed when they ran out of coffee or something on a Sunday morning and came to help. But a super active child was a different matter, however. my heart went out to them. We'll be back. We'll be back long before Christmas, said John. And Jason is used to you. Christmas certainly helped, so 100 thoughts flashed through my mind. Suppose Jason wouldn't eat what I prepared. Suppose he wouldn't obey me. Suppose I'd often babysat for them. But now life was real. Life was earnest. I should only be in hospital a few days, faltered Jane. She mentioned anemia and some medical term which meant nothing to me. I am sure will be a little angel. I'm sure Jason will be a little angel. It's so fine. The print is so fine. The little angel, I noticed, was standing on a chair trying to get at Flossie, who had taken refuge on the cupboard sideboard. I'll get out to fill me in. I'll get you to fill me in on a few things before you go. I sounded much more casual than I felt. It's quite some time I took care of a small child. 40 years to be exact, and a small brother at that. But I love having Jason. You'll soon be back, I feel sure. We talked things now over. Then they left to do something packing. To do some packing. Jason came over next morning, and together we waved goodbye to his parents as they went off in a taxi. My prayer went with them. Jason didn't seem the least bit perturbed at their leaving, but raced after Flossie. She got ahead of him and sprung gracefully up onto the glass cabinet. There she sunk down with him through her safe position. I was unpacking Jason's small suitcase when I heard a crash from the kitchen. With my heart in my mouth, I ran there on the double. Mm-hmm. There was Jason, drenched in milk. How could he be a single part of milk? So completed, looked like a small boy. It was one of those, he cried. Oh, this is so fine printed, Orrett.
Yeah, it's very difficult. It's okay. We've gotten the gist. And just to remind our listeners that that lady, she would have been the sister to Miss Ella Hurlston.
Yes.
They were all the Hutchins. The Hutchin. He was the commissioner for Turks and Caicos.
He was commissioner here too.
And commissioner here as well. Yes. Okay, so Doc, we have about 6 minutes left.
Well, on this Northwester, December 83 to January the 4.
Mm-hmm.
The front on the front cover is Mr. Richard Arshman of the Year.
Yes. Okay.
So Dick Art was very popular in those days.
Mm-hmm.
And I have to mention before I go.
Sure, go right ahead.
That when the kitchen dances started to fade away, ended, because we started to have electricity now, and people started to bring in their sound systems and records players and records and stuff. The entertainment then switched from the kitchen dances to regular places, public places where people played music and people paid to get in. And that one of those places, but they didn't pay to get into this place was a place called Blueberry Hill that was owned by Big A and the girl lady that you spoke to earlier this morning, who were sending their greetings to Bunny Miles.
Yes.
And then there was another place owned by a man called Britton, up on Shaden Road.
Britton Miles.
Yeah, called Blueberry Hill. I mean called Country Club, where they would have dances, and Patterson used to play in those mostly. Orchestra Patterson, the farm soldier, who became the farm soldier, used to play there, play his sound system there. I think he was one that first came out as an own a sound system. There was a man here. There was a man here who used to sell records in the place called the Old Parlour, near where Scotty's shop was.
Erlon.
Yeah, but he didn't have any record players. He only sold the records, but you didn't have any record player to play them on.
Yeah, everybody thought that he was basically working for
CIA.
For the CIA. Remember, he had that trailer up in Sound and
a whole lot of equipment
right next
on it.
to Mr. Silby.
Silver Cove with a whole lot of equipment on it, whole lot of radios equipment on it. Yes.
Before we go, we don't want to leave the BRAC out on this, so we have an article here in Northwester, February of 1979. Santa comes to the BRAC. Christmas may be long past, but acknowledgement is really necessary of the effort made to bring jolly old St. Nick to the BRAC and Little Cayman. Young and old alike benefited from the work of the Kiwanis of Grand Cayman and Cayman BRAC and the Cayman BRAC Club, the CB Club of the BRAC, who coordinated Santa's visit and handed out gifts and treats. Particularly gratifying was the trip to Little Cayman and the stop at the rest home on the BRAC. The CB Club also conducted the Christmas tree lighting ceremony at the park in Stake Bay, where the Sport Bay singers as well as pastors of various churches join in a solemn but joyous celebration of the Christmas season. And of course there are photographs and stuff in that regard as well. And just to on the writer, the listener who wrote in wanting to know about the various foods that were eaten during the Christmas season and prepared, we should bear in mind that things like turkey, they were delicacies. We didn't have those in the day. It was only when more air travel to the U.S. afforded that, and once we started to have more supermarkets, more grocery stores as well. Doc, I want to thank you for being here. I want to wish you all the best during the holiday season as well. Any remarks that you want to have for your listeners and friends out there?
I would just like to say again, greetings for the seasons, and when the new year comes, Happy New Year to you. And I would just like to remind you that also on the front page of this Northwester magazine in 1983, December 1983, is the front cover is Mr. Dick Arch, Man of the Year, and on the back cover is Miss Winsome Sanchez, who became a manager of Cayman Airways ticket office down in Georgetown. So if anybody wants that, that's a beautiful picture. I would try to capture it if I was a family member for her. It's here, and it says that Winsome Sanchez is smiling because as manager of the Cayman Airways ticket office in downtown Georgetown, she meets many of the royal business flyers who depend on Cayman Airways on the loyal business flyers who depend on Cayman Airways for convenient flight services to Miami, Houston, and Jamaica, and soon Grand Turk. And she's smiling because she knows business people appreciate Cayman Airways' best on time record for service to and from the Cayman Islands, and that means you'll smile too. And this is a very good picture of her, of Mr. Miss Winston Sanchez, and this is a picture of Mr. Descartes.
Okay, folks, I want to thank you for allowing Radio Cayman and by extension For the Record into your homes, into your vehicles, as you traverse the busy roads of the Cayman Islands into your places of work, wherever that may be. I also want to remind you that we are our brothers and our sisters' keepers. There is always someone out there who's less fortunate than we are, and I ask you to extend a helping hand to them. If you can't do that, then I suggest you donate to a worthy charity, because we always want to consider those who need, not necessarily those who want, or even those who crave. And while you're extending your helping hand to them, or if there is a need even for you to lift them up in some way, just remember that they are not heavy. They ain't heavy. He ain't heavy. She ain't heavy. He's my brother. She's my sister. And if you remember that, then it makes doing whatever you do for them so much easier. So I say to you, have a great day. Continue to support your radio station, Radio Cayman. Join Sterling Dwayne Banks at 12:15 for Talk Today. And as usual, we ask the good Lord to bless these three beautiful, wonderful Cayman Islands.
For the Record, proudly brought to you by
Vamped Motors, the only authorized Ford and Toyota dealership serving the Cayman Islands. Coca-Cola, available across the Cayman Islands from Tortuga distributors. Accept no substitutes. Taste the feeling with Coca-Cola. Brand Source Home Gallery, inspiring luxury. West Bay Pharmacy, taking care of your health. And JN Money. From abroad to yard. Fast, affordable, convenient. Doctor's Hospital. Peace of mind is important when life happens. Doctor's Hospital, always there for you. Call 949